This is Mr. Urrego, and this is to show you how to simplify square roots, which basically, in a minute, we're going to take this problem's 38, and we're going to bring it, so it's going to be square root of 32, okay? We need to break this number and take whatever we can out of the radical. So we're going to come over here and break it. 16 times 2, 4 times 4, 2 times 2, 2 times 2. This is the prime factorization of this number. Now, there's a simple rule. Technically, this is inside the radical. So every single branch, like I call it, is going to be inside the radical. All of them. Okay? Because 32 is the same as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 32 is the same as 2 to the 5th. But that's not the point right now. I just want to show you the radical part. Okay? So technically, all those two are inside the radical. Simple rule. For every 2, 1 and 2, that are inside the radical, 1 is coming outside the radical. Again, 1, 2 is coming out of the radical. Okay? Because there's only one 2 left over here. It stays inside the radical, and that's gonna be like that. Okay? So again, you break the number. For every 2, 1 comes out. For every 2 of the same number that is inside the radical, 1 comes out. Okay? Whatever number comes out, they're going to be multiplying the outside. So you're going to have 2 times 2 is 4 square root 2, which is your final answer. Another way of doing a square root of 32 is basically when you're breaking the number 16 and 2, you can realize that this 16 is a perfect square. Perfect square. Because square root of 16 is equal to 4. So if you have square root of 32, it's the same as having square root of 2. I'm sorry, square root of 16 times square root of 2. And this way, you know that square root of 16 is equal to 4, and the square root of 2 is 2. And that's your final answer. So that's another way how to solve it. The next problem that we're going to do is 39. Square root of 125. So let's go to a blank page. Square root of 125. Again, we're going to break the 125 into 25 and 5. The 25 is 5 times 5. And this 5 has to be a little bit better. Okay. The first process that I show you, for every 2 of the same, technically remember, all of these are inside the radical. So for every 2, 1 comes out. But I have 1 5 left, which is going to stay inside the radical. Oh my god, I'm sorry about that. So your final answer is going to be 5 square root of 5. Now, the second process that I show on the previous problem, you can do also 125. Break it into 25 and 5. But right now, you see that 25 is a perfect square. So I can rewrite square root of 25 as square root of 25 times 5. Square root of 25 equals to 5. Radical 5 stays the same. So as you can see, it is the same answer that you have from before. Okay, any of the two processes is valid, whatever you like best. And that was problem 39, I believe. That's 39 from the review. Let's do something like 40 right now, which is 4 square root of 27 times square root of 3. 327, 3. 3 square root of 27 times square root of 3. any number that is in the outside is going to multiply the outside, but right now in this radical there's no number on the outside, so you assume that there's a 1. The numbers on the inside multiply the numbers on the inside of the radical. So I'm going to have 3 times 1 is 3 on the outside, and 27 times 3 is 81. If you realize that 3 stays on the outside, it's coming down. If you realize that 81 is a perfect square, which is equals to 9, you can do it right away. And your final answer is 27. If you don't see it, then you bring the 81 and you break it. 9 times 9. Look at that. For every 2, okay, 1 comes out. Again, I have the 3 from the outside. But then I have square root of 81, which is square root of 9 times square root of 9. Because I have 2 of the same on the inside, 1 comes out. My final answer, 27. Either way is the same thing. Now let's do something division. Let's do 43. 43 is interesting. Let's do 43. So let's take it to a different page. And it was, I just forgot what it was, 43. 81 over 125. 81 over 125. Okay, the rule for division is the following. When you have a fraction or a division inside the radical, the first step that you might want to do is break the top and the bottom into 2 different radicals. So the numerator is going to be square root of 81, the denominator is going to be square root of 125. Now you solve it the same way that you did previously. Okay, square root of 81, let's say that we have it. Oh, we had that square root of 81 is 9 from before. So on the top I have 9. And square root of 125, let's go back because I think we did it already. Oh, look at this. Square root of 125 is 5 square root of 5. 5 square root of 5. I'm not repeating the process because I have it from the previous page, and I want to raise that 5. It's ugly. Like the other ones, but you know, that one is really ugly. Okay, so I have this now. There's a rule when you're doing radicals. You cannot have a radical on the denominator. In this case, that's square root of 5. You're not allowed to have a radical on the denominator. Because of that, we need to multiply by the same radical. So if I have square root of 5, I want to multiply by square root of 5 on the bottom and the top. Okay? The idea of multiplying on the bottom is because I know that square root of 5 times square root of 5, let me do it on the side, is going to be square root of 25. And square root of 25 is equal to 5. So that's the whole idea. When you multiply by a radical, is to get rid of the radical on the denominator. When I multiply this times this, I know the radicals will be gone because I'll have a whole number as an answer. Okay? So let's continue. The top, 9 times square root of 5 stays the same. The bottom, this 5 is on the outside, so stays on the outside. Now, square root of 5, this square root of 5 times this square root of 5 is going to give me square root of 25. Okay? And that's equal to, the top stays the same, because the 9 is on the outside and the 5 is on the inside. You cannot multiply those two. So they stay the same. The bottom, this 5 is on the outside, stays on the outside. Any number that is coming out of here is going to be multiplying the outside. So square root of 25 is equal to 5. And these two 5s multiply to get a 25 on the bottom. The top stays the same. And that's your final answer. Okay, that's a 9 by the way. Sometimes you'll have like 45, 16 over 25, and let's do that one. 16, square root of 16 over 25. We said that the rule is whenever you have a division inside a radical, you break it into the top and the bottom. Okay? Reduce, simplify, do whatever you can. Square root 16 is 4. Perfect square, right? 4 times 4. 25, square root 25 is 5. Oh, there's no radicals left. Anything that I have to do? No. That's your final answer. Because there's no radicals in the denominator, you don't need to worry about anything. And that's your final answer.